Introducing GForceTV. GForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GForceTV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washougal Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GForceTV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GForceTV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GForceTV racing leagues. GForceTV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GForceTV.
Well, good evening, everybody, and we welcome you to some Thursday Night Thunder tonight. It's the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds live on GForceTV and GeForce Esports, and it will be a night to remember. Good evening, everybody. I'm Sean Neisted, and joining me, as usual, on this Thursday Night Thunder action, Scotty DeYoung. We like to call him Scotty Too Hottie. Good evening to you, Scotty.
On Thursday Night Thunder here once again. So excited to go racing from the Lanier Speedway, and we got big block modified on the docket tonight. Cannot wait. Let's get this night started.
It is going to be a good one. So we welcome you into the Gambler Motorsports pre-race show here this evening to get everything set for some Thursday Night Thunder. Gambler Motorsports, an esports racing team that competes across the iRacing platform. The team has drivers entered in dirt races, sports cars, pave oval, and even endurance races. This year, they'll have drivers at the prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona and in Le Mans. Go to Gambler Motorsports on Facebook and give them a follow. Scotty, we got to see this racetrack, Lanier Speedway. Brazelton, Georgia is its location. We got to see this Monday night with the A&J Custom Creations Renegades. Great racing action this past Monday. What do you think that means for these big blocks here tonight?
You know, with the great show we saw Monday with the Renegade Series, I mean, it can only mean it can get better with these modifieds out here tonight. Tight little bullring track, but always produces great racing. I think we might see possibly a little trouble as you see these cars really slinging it into the corners there. Might be a factor, might not be. We'll just have to see. But like we saw Monday, 3 lines of racing from top to bottom, especially when the track slicked off. So definitely interested to see what will happen here tonight with these big block modifieds.
Of course, this division has been very exciting, and it is a new division to the GeForce TV family and GeForce Esports. So we're going to crown a champion, and a first ever big block champion with GeForce Racing Leagues coming up in a couple of weeks. But before we think too far ahead, let's take a moment here and we'll look at the point standings after just 2 events so far for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. And of course, our look into the point standings brought to us by NSM Wraps. Of course, if you want your iRacing car to look its very best, you need to go to Need Speed Motorsports and NSM Wraps. They'll get your car looking great. They do a fantastic job with all of that they do. And Scotty, we take a look at the point standings here tonight, and it looks like Aiden Young atop the points coming into tonight's action here at Lanier.
Does sit atop the points, driven in the past 2 races at Cedar Lake and Limeland the first 2 weeks for these Division 6 incidents, 86 total laps and 129 points. So he sits top the leaderboard and hopefully stays there by the end of tonight as well.
Wayne Miller sits number 2 in the points, just 11 out of the top. Robert Schaefer is 3rd. Kyle Moon in 4th, and Chris Steele completing your top 5. Just 15 points separating the top 5 right now. Jeffrey Barker, Brandon Schultz, Steven Spies, Sheldon Oberle, and Daniel Blau, the remainder of the top 10. And as a reminder, Brandon Schultz and Sheldon Oberle are our 2 feature winners. You see that with the star next to their points on the screen. Brandon Schultz picking up the win at Lima Land, and it was Sheldon Oberle getting the win, I believe, at Cedar Lake. I think I've got those right. I may have them flipped around, but nonetheless, yeah, it was Sheldon Oberle got the win. Impressive win for that young driver last Monday when we went to the Cedar Lake Speedway. So a lot of excitement on the track so far in the 2 events, and Scotty, I would expect some more of the same here tonight.
Oh yeah, for sure, and especially with like what we saw in week 1 when this class was just new, had only been around for just a handful of days, and drivers learning the setups of these cars and just really testing and tuning, especially on that first race. And then we saw last week a little bit better, drivers having more time to fine-tune the setups here with an open setup in this division. So we'll definitely see what they can do here tonight on such a tight racetrack here at Lanier.
The 358 Modifieds competed just a little bit ago. Congratulations to Zane Walters. He picked up the victory in that event just minutes ago. That one wrapped up. Justin Sick was in 2nd on that one. 3rd place to Trent Verstraeten in the 88. Finishing 4th was Jeremy Prey in the 817, and Steve Shaw Sr. finishing in the 5th spot earlier tonight in the 358 division, as we'll take a look at some more of the cars out here on the racetrack. And congratulations to your Hard Charger Award recipient earlier tonight in the 358s. That was Austin Graby, and of course we'll have a Hard Charger Award up for grabs here tonight in this one, brought to us by 2W's Plumbing, and we'll have all the other accolades to give out as always as we work through tonight's event. Again, all part of the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. All right, Scotty, we've talked about this racetrack. Let's talk more about these cars and what we have witnessed with them in the first couple of events. It seems like these drivers really like to get that left front tire up in the air.
Yeah, they do, which is reminiscent of a tight car, which is sometimes great. It depends on what line you're running. If you're running that bottom line and have a tighter car, it can help you get through the corners and then really pull coming off the corner down the straights. If you're up top, though, you want the car just a little bit looser. You go tight into that corner with that tight of a car, the car will push through the corner and you'll get closer and closer to that wall, and you might even take it with you if you get too close. So the more up top you want to be, the looser you want your car to swing the back end around and really carry the momentum to the corner on the top side. Down low, you can have that gas brake with a little bit of a tighter car, and then really get that pull coming off the corner on the bottom side of the racetrack.
You say gas brake. What does that do for you as a driver?
If you're running a tight car like that, it just gets you through the corner better, in my opinion. As a guy who honestly rarely ran the bottom out in the real world when I was racing, you had to learn to, sometimes the bottom is the fastest way around the racetrack, but you have to make sure that the car is set up for it. So you want a little bit of a tighter car running the bottom side of the racetrack. With these modifieds, usually you see them along with sprint cars too. They'll come into the corner sideways. So you come in a little straighter than with a tighter setup, but you got to really have it geared right and set right so you can just get that pull off the corner and hike that left front wheel in the air.
Hiking that left front, leave it at home tonight is what you're saying then.
Yep, leave it at home, and yeah, left front tire for sale, only touch ground maybe twice during racing.
We'll have to see how that plays out here tonight. Let's go on board Kyle Parker and make a couple laps here around this racetrack as we're a couple minutes away from Bandy-built race cars qualifications. And there's something you talked about the other night too, Scotty, as you get into the corner and then you exit turn number 4. You've got a couple of entrances on the top side of this racetrack where the wall actually goes away.
And like I said, Monday night with the Renegade Series, you really have to make sure you hit your mark spot on with this racetrack. It's a tight racetrack with the multiple lines that it is running. You see the entrances to the pits and exit to the pits right there through 3 and 4. So if you're just a little bit too high, that wall can reach out and grab you, and that will shove you either over the wall or straight down the racetrack right into the pits.
So that'll be something we'll be watching for here tonight, as it could be a little disastrous for drivers if they reach out and touch some concrete tonight over there on the racetrack. So a good field of cars starting to get checked in. A couple more minutes of practice for these drivers to feel out that racing surface, and we will be going into Vanderbilt qualifications, and then that takes us into our qualifying heat races here tonight. This is a look from turn number 4 at the pit entrance over there as we see a couple of cars drive by. But that's exactly what you're talking about there, Scotty, is there's a wall right there. You race right down next to it here at this speedway. There's not like a push lane or something to separate you from the concrete on the bottom or the top.
No, there really isn't. So you got to make sure you hit your marks, especially if you're running that bottom side, and try to. We've seen some drivers use the very, very knife edge on that bottom side and sadly clip the wall.
All right, that will bring us into our Vanderbilt Race Cars qualification session here tonight. Each driver is going to get 2 laps on the clock. Vanderbilt Race Cars, proud supporter of the GForce Racing Leagues. They're headquartered in Rochester, Minnesota. Vanderbilt puts a focus on fun and friendly competition. Starting to see cars make their way onto the racetrack for their 2-lap effort. See the 52 on the speed right there of John Wilson. Jason Randolph on the track right now, the 47. It'll be 04 on your scoring. Starting to make some laps here too. And Scotty, I think we'll see some good laps start to click in here anytime now.
Yeah, you just see Young, and that'd be Aiden Young, I believe, the 69 car up top of the leaderboard right now with a well, it was Young. It's Randolph now with a quick time. 13.81 is the time to beat right now. You can definitely tell these drivers have definitely got their setups maybe to that happy medium to work with all tracks. So we'll definitely see if Randolph can hold it there in that top spot in the 04 car.
Steve Shaw Sr. got close to him. He'll put his second lap into the books, a 13.91, so he'll stick with the 13.90. There's Field Miller. He just went to the top of the charts, the 677 machine, going to the top of 13.77 for his fast lap, and he sits number 1 on the charts by half a tenth just about.
Definitely good time for Miller there in the 677. Taking a look at Randolph bumped to second, then Sick, I believe, just coming from the 358 in that 3rd qualifying position, and Shaw the 54 in 4th, and Aiden Young now bumped to the 5th position.
So there we see Justin Sick is a very good looking 15S. Here's Max Langevin, the 161, just finished his lap out there on the speedway, and looks like just about everybody's got their laps in. Maybe a couple more drivers on the track right now. See Lane Snook out there, the driver we'll talk about later on tonight in our NSM Photos Driver of the Week profile. Lane just jumped up to 8th quick on the charts at a 14.01. Now 13.97 for Kyle Parker. He'll jump up to 7th quick. There's the 013 cars. So it looks like just about everybody finishing up their qualifying efforts here in Vanderbilt Race Cars qualifications. So it looks like they will probably invert the top 4 as usual, Scotty, for the starting grids on our heat races here tonight. So Field Miller and Jason Randolph going to have to come from the outside of row number 2 for their heat races here this evening, and those heat races just a couple of moments away.
Top 4, I believe, going to tonight's A main. Is that correct, Sean?
Well, it looks like we've got a field tonight. I think everyone's going to get a little luck here tonight and make the show. So we'll follow along with the format here tonight. We'll have a few heat races, but certainly the top 4 directly to the Epsilon Sprint Wraps A main here this evening, and we'll look for our B main to settle the back half of that starting lineup. Hey, speaking of starting lineups, A&J Custom Creations heat race number 1 ready to come on to the racetrack, and let's take a look at the starting grid for this one, Scotty.
It's going to see Kyle Parker in the 013 starting on the pole. Aiden Young to the outside in car 69. Justin Sick in the 015 to the inside of row 2. And it's going to be Field Miller in the 677 and to the outside in row number 2. Lane Snook, driver of the week in car 123 to the inside of row 3. To his outside is Jonathan Short in car 51. Jeffrey Barker in 513 to the inside of row 4. To his outside, Stephen Goldner in car 30. And it's going to be Max Langevin picking up the shotgun spot on the field in car 161. This heat race brought to you by A&J Custom Creations, specializing in laser engraving and CNC machining. A&J Custom Creations puts its craftsmanship to work in every wood trophy and plaque they produce. A&J provides trophy and plaques to all GeForce Racing League's division champions. Contact Andy Patton to order your custom creation today.
Big thank you to A&J Custom Creations and all of the great sponsors of the GeForce Racing Leagues. And we couldn't be doing it without them. Couldn't be giving out great prizes like we do from A&J Custom Creations without great support from folks like Andy Patton and all of them who bring us this Thursday Night Thunder and events all across the week. Go to GForceRL.com to see more information on all of the various leagues out there. If it is a league on dirt and even some road racing, you can bet there is a league for you with the GeForce Racing Leagues. Again, see more information at GForceRL.com. Coming to the green, Scotty, heat race number 1, going green, 8 laps the distance.
Kicking off with heat race number 1, 3 wide right out the gate in turns 1 and 2. The 013 of Parker out to the early race lead. Here comes Aiden Young in the 69 car pushing up the racetrack. Like I mentioned, that tight car and not wanting to go through the corner very well, but it's going to be Parker leading lap number 1.
Field Miller in the second spot already, up a couple of spots for the quick timer here in the 677. He works the bottom all over Kyle Parker. They'll put 2 laps in, now 6 laps to go. Justin Sick runs third, Aiden Young now under pressure from the 51 of Jonathan Short. Short will take the spot. And here comes Lane Snook looking to the inside in the 123.
Lane Snook in the 123 using the bottom to middle side of the track to his advantage. He will sneak into the top 5 right now. Parker still with the race lead. Miller, Sick, Short, and Snook, your current top 5, thundering down the backstretch in the turn 3.
Jonathan Short in that red 51 just in front of Lane Snook. Let's check back on the front runners here. Kyle Parker, Field Miller, Justin Sick. 1, 2, 3. They go down the back straightaway. Sick there in the third spot. Trying to get back to the bumper of the 677 of Field Miller. They've got 3 laps to go on this one. Off of turn number 2, they come. We'll go on board with Sick as they head to turn number 3.
You see Miller looking to the inside of the 013 of Parker. There had a little bit better run that last lap. Now trying to sneak to the inside once again to get that race win. Trying to get there as we're still on board with Sick, following in the coattails on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Kyle Parker well in control of this one. The 13 car looking very strong as they'll flash by. White flag in the air. Final lap on our A&J Custom Creations heat race number 1. Field to make their way into turn number 3. Heading to turn number 4 for the final time. And we get the checkered flag. It goes to Kyle Parker. Field Miller second. Justin Sick third. And Jonathan Short will finish 4th. Lane Snook was 5th. Aiden Young, Stephen Goldner, Jeffrey Barker, and Max Langevin. Your unofficial finish for the A&J Custom Creations heat race number 1. Heat race number 2 up next on the grid, the Maconi Setup Shop. Heat race number 2. Let's take a look at the starting grid on this one here, Scotty.
Chris Steele in the 80 is going to be sitting on the pole with the 021 of Kevin Fry to his outside. Row number 2 is going to see Stephen Shaw Sr. in the 54 car to the inside of row 2. To his outside, Jason Randolph in the 01. Andrew Smith in the 79 inside of row number 3. To his outside, Nicholas Vickery in the 00 car. Your 4th and final row is going to see John Wilson in the 52 to the inside. And to his outside, Austin Graby in the 087.
That is your starting lineup. 8 laps the distance. We know the top 4 directly transfer to tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps A main. Heat race number 2 brought to us by Maconi Setup Shop. At the Maconi Setup Shop, they may be their setups, but they're your victories. Maconi's commitment to providing high-quality setups at an affordable price has remained since their first day, and it still drives the company to this day. If you need a little help going a bit faster with your iRacing setups, look them up. Maconi Setup Shop, bringing us heat race number 2. So we'll get set to see that green flag off of turn number 4. Scotty, looking forward to seeing this racetrack get a little wider and wider as we continue to work through the program here tonight.
Yeah, definitely cannot wait to see those multiple lines of racing come into play, especially as this track breaks down tonight. as we come through 3 and 4. Pace truck's going to drop them off. We go green, heat race number 2.
Pace picks up Chris Steele and Kevin Fry side by side down into turn number 1. We'll see what Fry can do with him on that top line. That has not been the preferred groove in that 21 machine. He'll pull back along the outside of Steele, but then pushes up the racetrack as they put the first lap in the books. They go 3 wide for position number 2.
3 wide car, sideways is Shaw. He gathers it back up and puts her back straight. We're still lean, mean, and green. Steele out to the race lead. You saw Fry go up the racetrack as the track's still heavy up there. Multiple lines being used, but is the middle to the bottom side as they start to single file out here in heat race number 2.
Steele, Fry, Vickery, and Shaw in the top 4 spots as we continue on here with 6 laps to go in this one. Chris Steele looking very strong up front in that number 80 machine, but Kevin Fry still sticking with him.
Still sticking with him indeed, trying to pull to the rear push bar of that modified as we come down to the line. 4 laps to go. This time by for the G-Force Racing League's big block modified. Steele still out in front in car 80 and looking smooth as ever coming into turn 3 and 4.
It is about 0.8 of a second lead for the 80 of Chris Steele as you will put the laps to it. 3 laps to go on this one as the field make their way by us there in turn number 4. You see the 21 of Kevin Fry in the distance back to Nicholas Vickery, and then Steve Shaw. Jason Randolph runs in 5th. Andrew Smith is 6th. Austin Gravy is 7th. And John Wilson running in the 8th spot. 2 laps to go for your leader, Chris Steele. He's putting the whip to her out front in that Golf I-80.
Chris Steele in the 80 car starting to check out a little bit from Fry in the 021 car as a final lap here. White flag in the air, half lap to go now. Down the back straightaway, Steele looking to pick up this heat race win, and Fry coming in second. Looks like that's how they'll finish, along with Vickery, Shaw, and Randolph, Smith, Grady, and Wilson rounding out the field.
So that is your finish for the Makoni Setup Shop. Heat race number 2 tonight for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds, and we'll see 10 laps go on the board. We're just about set to go into tonight's consolation event, and these drivers are going to make the show here tonight, but in this B feature, it's about gaining positions to start better in tonight's A main. In fact, if you can win this B main, brought to us by Velocity Race Design, you'll roll off for that main event in position number 9 here tonight. So we'll take a look at the starting lineup for tonight's Velocity Race Design B main.
Starting lineup's going to see Lane Snook in the 123 car sitting on the pole. Jason Randolph to his outside in car 04.
Second row has the 69 of Aiden Young on the inside. It's Andrew Smith in the 79 lining up outside row number 2.
Going to be Stephen Goldner in the 30 car to the inside of row 3, and to the outside, Austin Gravy in car 087.
It's Jeffrey Barker lining up inside the 4th row. That's the pilot of the 513 car. John Wilson in the 52 out of Canada. He'll line up in position number 8.
Max Langevin in the 161 is going to start shotgun on the field, and that is your starting lineup for your Velocity Race Design B feature.
Velocity Race Design tells you that you don't have to look any further than them for a fresh new look on your favorite dirt car. Whether it's that hot new design for your real car or a retro throwback of your hero for the sim, Velocity Race Design has you covered. Race on over to Velocity Race Design on Facebook and order yourself a custom paint design today. Field gets set for that green flag. 10 laps will be the distance, and we will receive that as we come off of turn number 4. This racetrack right here, a few more cars on it, Scotty. A few more laps right here. I think this could be what we need to get that groove moved up off the bottom just a bit.
I think so. So we should see multiple lines of racing right after this consolation feature. Green flag is out though, and we are underway. Lane Snook going to lead him into turn 1 and 2.
Snook always so smooth in that 123 machine, a state championship go-kart racer out there in Pennsylvania. He has the race lead. Aiden Young, Jason Randolph, they're tussling right now for position number 2. Randolph in the 47 machine, the 69 of Aiden Young on the bottom. That's happening just in front of the 79 of Andrew Smith. Still side by side for position number 2.
Great battle for position number 2 here. About to be a 3-car battle, with the 79 of Smith coming to call on the outside as well. Still side by side for that second place spot. Lane Snook still your race leader in car 123.
Snook looking strong here. Randolph, Young, Smith, and Jeffrey Barker, the top 5. You see that on the left side of your screen. clicking the way of the laps here in this Velocity Race Design B main. Again, every position you gain here is one you don't have to make up in that A feature coming up in just a little bit. You see Jason Randolph trying to gain another spot. He was taking and starting to put some pressure on Lane Snook out front.
To put pressure on him, he did, and now falling back just ever so slightly. Snook still with the race lead, trying to get that better starting position in tonight's A feature. Side-by-side battles all throughout the field, though, as it is still Snook, Randolph, Young, Smith, and Barker, your top 5.
Starting to see a battle starting to form right there. You see Jeffrey Barker in the 513. Also the 30 of Steven Goldner in that mix as well. That is a battle right there. Right there in the 4th spot is the 513 of Jeffrey Barker. Goldner right behind him. Saw Goldner pass a lot of cars last night in the Elite Series event. And he's trying to come forward once again in a B main. Here comes Andrew Smith looking to the inside as well.
We got a battle for the race lead, Sean, between Snook and Randolph at the front. Randolph had just caught Snook ever so slightly, then looked like he bobbled going through turns 3 and 4 there. Young trying to capitalize in the 69 car, could not do so. Snook, Randolph, and Young still running in your top 3.
Jeffrey Barker starting to close in just a little bit on the 69 of Aiden Young, but may run out of time to do anything with him because the white flag is in the air. Lane Snook trying to go flag to flag on this one and pick up the victory. He'll come off turn number 4, and that's exactly what he'll do. Lane Snook wins the Velocity Race Design B main. Second place going to Jason Randolph, Aiden Young third, Jeffrey Barker fourth, Steven Goldner, Andrew Smith, John Wilson, Austin Graby, your top 8 in tonight's Velocity Race Design B main. Field going to get set to come out onto the racetrack. They've got a couple minutes of practice before we get into tonight's A main. So that brings us to tonight's Icon Sim Sports pre-main break. This is your chance to get yourself ready for that A main as well. And a reminder that Icon Sim Sports aims to bring the sim racing community a one-of-a-kind fixed chassis experience like none other. They exemplify extraordinary customer service as well. If you're wondering what we're talking about, stay tuned. We'll learn more about Icon Sim Sports. And after the break, we'll introduce you to the NSM Photos Driver of the Week. And we'll have the main event tonight for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds on the GeForce Racing League. Stay tuned. Action continues right after this.
At McConey Setup Shop, we offer custom-built setups for any asphalt oval car. Prices starting at just $5. Weekly setups available for all Legends, late models, modifieds, and NASCAR trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. Do you need one-on-one driver coaching? We've got you covered. Visit www.McConeySetupShop.com and find yourself in Victory Lane. McConey Setup Shop, handling all your setup needs so you don't have to.
Welcome back to the Lanier Speedway tonight with the GeForce Racing Leagues and the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. And Scotty, that brings us to this week's NSM Photos Driver of the Week. Your NSM Photos Driver of the Week is none other than Lane Snook, as we're taking a look at him making his way around the racing surface. Lane Snook, always a competitive driver. In fact, he entered this week leading the Renegade Series in the 360 sprint cars. The GeForce Racing League's looking to congratulate Lane Snook on this honor this week. And the previous week in the GeForce Racing Leagues, he started 19th in the fixed 358 division, passed 14 cars, finished 5th in that one. He also passed 13 cars in the Elite 360 sprint cars last week to finish in position number 8. That driver we're talking about, again, is Lane Snook, and we see him tonight in these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. In fact, that's him on your screen right there in car number 123. Just about set to go with your A main here tonight, and really looking forward to this one. 30 laps will be the distance, and that's going to be a long time for these big block modifieds around this racetrack. We're going to see the racetrack, I believe, change quite a bit over the course of the 30 laps. We'll see if Scotty's still with us here tonight. Scotty, are you here, and what are you looking forward to in this A main?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, the internet dropped for just a second.
No worries.
No, I think, yeah, with this racetrack breaking down, I think if it breaks down like it did with the Renegades this past Monday night, we're going to see some awesome racing, especially when the track slicks off. And drivers using, like we saw, those multiple lines just the other night. Multiple lines starting to already be used. You look at that track already, it's starting to slick off ever so slightly. So with these 30 laps here and these talented drivers, we should be in for quite a show here tonight.
All of tonight's event brought to us by Epsilon Sprint Wraps. If you're looking to stand out from the competition, Epsilon Sprint Wraps creates tailor-made graphics and logos to fit your personal taste with a focus on realistic design. You'll look like you drove off of your local third track and right into iRacing. Champions choose Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Of course, tonight, Scotty, we'll have our 2Ws Plumbing Heart Charger Award and interview at the conclusion of tonight's feature event. 2Ws Plumbing out there in Naples, New York, a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing, general contracting, and water treatment for commercial, residential, and multi-family housing. You can give them a call at 585-749-9478 as you see a couple cars spinning around there in the last couple moments of tonight's practice session, and we are set to go in a moment here with tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps, a feature event. The starting lineup for tonight's event brought to us by Supreme Sim Racing. We've got 30 laps on deck here tonight, and Scotty, let's take a look at the Supreme Sim Racing starting lineup for this main event.
We're going to see Kyle Parker in the 013 going to be sitting on the pole. To his outside, the number 80 of Chris Steele.
Second row on the inside, it's Field Miller. He pilots the 677, and to his right, it's the 21 of Kevin Fry.
Going to the third row, pushing off from position number 5, the 015 of Justin Sick, and to his outside, the 00 of Nicholas Victory.
Let's go to the fourth row. It's Jonathan Short. He lines up on the inside in the 51 ride, and to his right, it's Steve Shaw Sr. in car number 54. He was fifth earlier tonight in the 358s.
Rounding out the top 10 is going to be Lane Snook in car 123 to the inside of row 5. To his outside is going to see the 04 of Jason Randall.
Let's go to the sixth row. It's Aiden Young in car number 69 on the inside. Outside, the 513, it's Jeffrey Barker.
Pushing off for position number 13 is the 30 car of Stephen Goldner, and to his outside, the 79, Andrew Smith.
Row number 8 has John Wilson, the 52 on the inside. Outside, in the 87, it's Austin Graby. He was hard charger earlier tonight in the 358s.
Max Langeman will round out your field, starting shotgun in car 161. That is your starting lineup here for your Epsilon Sprint Wraps, a feature.
Again, starting lineup brought to you by Supreme Sim Racing, an international sim racing team made up of talented sim racers from all around the world. Are you Supreme? Looking to join an easy and fun sim racing team? Look them up. Supreme Sim Racing. Nobody does it like Team Supreme. Epsilon Sprint Wraps bringing us this A main, and if we get a caution, we'll take a look at some Malcolm Mills replays as well. Scotty, looking forward to this one. 30 laps around the Lanier Speedway. It is a tight bull ring, green flag in the air. Field coming to the start.
H truck going to dive into the infield, and green flag is out. We are underway at the Lanier Speedway. It is Steve Parker out with the early race lead. You see cars going up top already. The 013 with the race lead, Miller in second, Steele in third. And look at that, a car going sideways, trying to gather it back up as one car pushes way up the track. Some excitement here going on already in just the first lap, Sean.
That was Chris Steele, the 80 car, way too loose. The 21 of Kevin Fry was the one way up the racetrack. Oh, low contact there. The 00 of Nicholas Vickery getting a little shot from the 21 of Kevin Fry. They're 3 wide, deep in the field. We'll watch these guys as they sort it out deep in the pack. Lane Snook there in the 123 center of the screen. He runs in position 8. Oh, we got trouble there. Couple cars touching.
Around. Yes, car up and over One car getting loose and getting a bump and go, and caution coming out on lap number 4. Are we able to get a replay of that, Sean?
I believe we can. Let's get a look here on a Malcolm Mills replay, and you're going to see exactly what happened on this one. The 80 machine of Chris Steele, the car to watch, got a little loose. Here comes Kevin Fry in the 21. He'll make contact. Just sneaking to the inside there was the 00. No contact there for Nicholas Vickery, and then a little contact for the 79 of Andrew Smith getting in there as well. So that's exactly what panned out over there in turn number 4. Puts us under the caution flag here early on in tonight's main event.
That replay brought to you by Malcolm Mills Replays, based in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. Malcolm Mills Millwrighting is a full-service millwrighting contractor featuring custom welding and fabricating, plus service of full industrial clients. So Malcolm Mills Replays bringing you the replays here tonight as we are on lap 3 of 30. Already exciting. Looks like we're coming back to the green, Sean.
Another good start there. Kyle Parker in the 13 leads them down into turn number 1. Still in the early portion of this one, and seeing drivers starting to feel out the racetrack a little higher. The 677 of Field Miller back there in the 3rd spot, bringing with him the 51 of Jonathan Short on the high line.
Hot line starting to come in. Look at the momentum that Miller is starting to carry on the top side of the racetrack, and here comes the 51 of Short even higher up the racetrack, right on the cushion, right near the wall, coming to call around the outside.
It is some tight battles out there as we've got a race for the lead. Down there into the corner goes the 15S, Justin Sick looking for it, and he will have it as they enter turn number 3. Here comes the 21 of Kevin Fry with him. They have a shuffled Kyle Parker out of the groove. Now Parker into the front straightaway wall. He's going to lose several spots, and in fact, we've got the caution flag over the speedway for the 513, or make that the 13 of Kyle Parker.
Looks like he went upside down on the front stretch too, so tough luck for Parker as he had the race lead and started to get shuffled back. Contact made, and unfortunately nowhere to go but upside down. Sometimes that's just the way things pan out, Sean.
Boy, things get tough here early on in this one for a driver who was leading earlier in this event. Let's see if we can get a look here at a Malcolm Mills replay for the 13 ride. And there you see it already happening. So let's go back one more lap for this Malcolm Mills replay. And, you know, just a lot of really close racing going on here, Scotty. I don't think there's any bad intent from anybody, but really close racing. You see just a little rub there from Kevin Fry. That's close racing there. And yeah, it just kind of continues here down the front straightaway until it looks like Parker just runs out of room and runs into that front straightaway wall. The car gets turned, and Lane Snook has nowhere to go. He gets into there as well. And see Stephen Goldner sneaking around the outside in the 30, but really the short end of the stick there for Kyle Parker in car 13.
Like we mentioned, early in the show, Sean, this is such a tight racetrack. Even if you do hit your marks, you always got to be aware of what the driver in front of you, beside you, behind, and possibly behind you, if you can hear them, on what they're doing. And it looks like we're coming back to the green.
We are back to green. Out front is Justin Sick. That 15S is your new leader, but Kevin Fry not settling in that 2nd spot. Less than a third of the way home in this feature event. And already we're trying to work to a 3rd different leader, but Justin Sick says, nah, I'm happy where I am right now with 22 to go. He leads it in the 15S.
Dick using the middle to the bottom side of the racetrack. Fry up top trying to carry the momentum. Just not quite there for him as here comes Miller to the middle of the racetrack now in car 677. Also, you see the 47 of Randolph in there as well. Top 4, great battle here as we go 21 laps to go.
Kevin Fry put that left front in the air. He's digging on the top, but if he doesn't, be careful down there. Field Miller's going to capitalize. The 677 taking the short way around the racetrack, trying to gain position number 2. A lot of momentum on the top for Kevin Fry right now in that 21. He loses the spot in the corners, gains it back with Uncle Mo down the straightaways.
Getting the pole off the corner that he needs, but car possibly just a little too tight up top. As you see, the car pushes over the cushion in the corners, and Miller is able to capitalize, but getting the pole off the corners is Fry. Meanwhile, as they're battling for that 2nd place spot, that gives Stick the ever more open track to try to gain and extend his race lead.
Let's go on board with Kevin Fry as he works that top shelf going by the flag stand. Got Justin Sick to his inside. You see those front tires working left a lot of the corner. That might be exactly what you're talking about, Scotty. A little bit tight. Now he goes in the slick, able to get the car a little more loose. Side by side for the race lead. Down the front, straight away they go.
Side by side in a turn number 1 now. Fry up top. Miller down low. Look at the momentum as he carries. He's going to rumble out to the race lead for just a moment, but here comes Sick back on the bottom to the middle of the race side, and it is going to be Fry now with your race lead in car 21.
Kevin Fry officially leads at the halfway point to become the third different leader. Justin Sick in the second spot. Jason Randolph runs third. Field Miller now fourth. Jonathan Short in the top 5. Lane Snook working on him, trying to get into the top 5. Did so for a very brief moment in that 123 as he works the bottom. This is side by side down the back straightaway for the 6th position.
This track is so hard to navigate. You see the slide job from Lane Snook there on Shaw as they are side by side now coming into, Short, for that top 5 position. And battle still up front for the race lead. Fry still with the lead. Sick back to second. Randolph, Miller, and Short, your current top 5.
Almost hate to check on the race leaders out front when they're racing this close, when you have such a good battle going on for that 6th spot. As you see, Shaw has been able to, or Short's been able to retake that spot in front of Snook. Golden right there. Vickery not far behind them, and that is a good battle going on. But out front, still a close one. Kevin Fry starting to pull away just a little bit in that 21 machine.
Car, like we said earlier, might be a little tight through the corners, but definitely has a pull on the straights, which is keeping him in the lead right now. Stick trying to do everything he can, still running to the bottom side of the racetrack. As you see Randolph now up to that 3rd spot in car 04.
Scotty, do you think it's one of those things, maybe Fry's car was a little bit too tight, but as the track works and breaks down, gets slicker, that car's coming around to him in the late stages of this race?
I think so too, with this track breaking down and getting more slicker. I think that's helping him up top to where that back end comes around and carries some momentum on the top side. Definitely has a pull going down the street, and we'll see if Sick has anything for him in the closing laps here of tonight's day feature.
Well, just as we say that, Justin Sick closes in once again, was able to pull side by side in the corner. He's staying faithful to that bottom line. Race for the lead, heating up once again.
That it is. This has been a great battle all race long between Sick and Fry. And you see the 47 of Randolph only watching in 3rd, trying to catch up to them as Miller and Short round out your top 5 with 7 coming to 6 laps to go.
So now 6 laps to go. If Kevin Fry makes any bobble at all, Justin Sick is there to capitalize on it. Jason Randolph in that 3rd spot. He's got the best seat in the house to watch that battle for the lead. Fry been able to pull away once again from Sick as Sick changes lines. He's gone up and grabbed a right rear full of the cushion.
Dick going top shelf racing, you see as we're on board with Randolph. Randolph has that left front in the air as he is tiptoeing closer and closer to that wall. Not where you want to be if you have a tight car like that up close. And Fry possibly getting into the wall, but still pulling away from Sick in position at number 2.
So Sick dives back down to the bottom, starting to work a little slide job type line as the field working themselves to 3 laps to go. Some traffic looming in front of your leaders, but I'm not sure we will get there before the checkered flag on this one. Randolph still in 3rd, Miller in 4th, Lane Snook in 5th. Look at this hornet's nest with a few laps to go. That's Short in the 5th spot, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, all right there battling for a top 5 position. Oh my!
All shuffling around, beating and banging, trying to keep it straight and trying to keep it racy. Here comes Short on the top side, and it looks like Barker into the top 5 now in car 513. Lane Snook there as well. It's anyone's guess who's it's going to be for the top 5 as we come to turn number 3 and 4 for the final time, Sean.
Kevin Fry off of turn number 4. He's going to get the win tonight with the Epsilon Sprint Wraps, a big block modified to 2nd place to Sick. Here comes that 5th place battle going by the line. It'll be Jeffrey Barker in 5th. Jonathan Short 6th. Boy, that was a wild one back there in those positions, but how about it for Kevin Fry here tonight, taking over the lead at the halfway point in the Epsilon Sprint Wraps A main, and he'll get his first win and 3rd different winner in 3 races so far for this series, Scotty.
Definitely shows the level of talent and how quick these drivers have adapted to these new cars and different setups. And who knows? Maybe we'll see a fourth different winner next week. But congratulations to Fry on getting the win tonight.
Looks like our third place finisher, Jason Randolph, is also going to get some extra accolades tonight. He is going to be your 2Ws Plumbing hard charger in this one. Again, 2Ws Plumbing, a proud supporter of the GeForce Racing Leagues. They're located in Naples, New York. 2Ws Plumbing, a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing, general contracting, and water treatment for commercial, residential, and multifamily housing. You can learn more at 2WsplumbingLLC.com. So congratulations to Jason Randolph. He gained 7 positions, coming from 10th to finish in 3rd here tonight in this one, and we'll have an opportunity to hear from him and all of our finishers in the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Victory Lane presentation coming up here in a couple of moments. But Scotty, another very good feature event here tonight, as Jason Randolph will join us here. Jason going to pick up the 2Ws Plumbing Hard Charger Award and a podium finish tonight with that 47 machine, and he's standing by with Scotty DeYoung.
Jason, we saw you come from the 10th spot all the way up to finish on the podium in 3rd tonight. What was that track like with being at such a tight racetrack? How hard was it to navigate that car to the 3rd place finish?
I've tried to stick on the top side for the most part and just following the traffic around, and things kind of worked out for me to move up.
With the track breaking down, how tight was it to get that car up top to work for you? A little bit of a looser setup or a little bit more of that happy medium between tight and loose up top?
It was pretty good early in the race up top, and then about midway through, you could tell the middle of the corner was slicking off. It wanted to throw you up in the wall, just being easy with the throttle and hoping it would work out.
What does it mean to, come into this with these brand new class, brand new setups and whatnot? How do you have to tune your car to get to that 3rd place spot like you did tonight on such a tight race track with all these cars?
Running laps with the team and kind of shooting stuff off of each other there helps out, and just getting the practice in.
Who would you like to thank tonight for putting the car on the podium?
I'd like to thank the Fern Motorsports, Apex Auto Glass and Tinning, 21 Designs, and Mazin's Transport tonight.
Once again, Jason Randolph taking home your 3rd place spot. Congratulations, and congratulations on being the 2Ws Plumbing Hard Charger recipient as well, and good luck next week.
All right, thank you. We'll see you then.
Sean Neisted standing by with our 2nd place finisher tonight, runner-up Justin Sick in car 15. Sean?
Well, Justin, if I would have told you hours ago you'd race twice tonight, have 2 second-place runs in the top 2 divisions with the big block modifieds, what would you have told me?
Probably tell you that you were lying.
How good does it feel to be where you are here tonight?
Man, it was great. I really enjoy running here. I'm with a new group of guys, and things are just looking good, and the bottom looked good, and it felt good, and that's where I stayed good.
You tried there late in the race as Kevin Fry was working that top in front of you. You tried to go up top. How different was it for that 15S car when you changed lines?
When I got up there, it just didn't seem like I was really going anywhere, and then the last few laps, I tried running the slider line, and I seemed to be gaining on them a little bit, but it was all over.
You still have to feel good, though, coming home second to a great competitor like Kevin.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right, anyone you need to thank for the solid run in both the 358s and then here tonight as well in the big blocks?
Yeah, absolutely. The Fern Motorsports, Apex Auto Glass and Tinning, Butt Kicker, Mazin's Transport, 21 Designs, Fine Line Designs, Justin Sick, iRacing Photography, Siebers Race Media. You guys for putting this on, GeForce. This is a great league, and I really enjoy all of it.
All right, Justin Sick, congratulations both on the 2nd place run here in the Epsilon Sprint Reps Big Block Modifieds and the 358s earlier tonight.
Thank you.
And now we'll have a chance to hear from our winner here tonight. That's Kevin Fry. He's standing by with Scotty DeYoung in the Epsilon Sprint Reps Victory Lane.
Yeah, Evan, you made that look easy, navigating through a tight field of race cars and then putting the car up top, carrying the momentum around and putting it in victory lane. How tough was it on that top side line to rocket that car out to the race lead?
It was very tough, especially when the cushion got very thin up top. That just had to make me drive a little bit smarter, and hit my marks even more precise than I had been all night long. So it was very tricky for sure when I had to maneuver my way through the cars. So.
It seemed like you had a tighter car coming into the corners. The car just really didn't want to turn as well. And then Sean and I touched on that aspect too of when the track started to slick off, probably helped you through the corners, but definitely having that pull off the corners down the straights. Were you kind of fighting that car out front and just trying to get by Sick there for the race lead?
Yes, it was for sure. It was tight for sure. I hated getting into still right there at the beginning of the race, but the car just pushed up, and I had no control over that, and I feel bad for getting into him that way. But I know he's a good competitor. He's fast and all, so I hate getting into him that way. But the car pushed, and I just had nowhere else to go. So, but yeah, towards the end, the car felt like it was getting faster and faster, and the car just kept on getting in my groove where I wanted to go. So.
How important is it then for these setups with this new class of cars, still trying to figure out setups for different tracks as you come into this new class? How fun is it to race with these guys in this new class of car?
Oh, it's a blast. I love racing with the GeForce Racing League and all these guys that's in the big block modifieds. I've raced with these since they came out, and it just seems like it's a much cleaner, funner race to race around other guys because they have a little bit more control than what they do in the sprint cars or the other classes as well. But it's just we're just on point tonight. It's just awesome.
Definitely fun to watch. Who would you like to thank for putting the car in victory lane tonight?
I can't thank my team firm enough for all the help that they've given us, all the setup help through Ryko, through everybody else that helps on the team. It's 2-1 Designs, 2-1 iRacing Designs to keep our cars looking sharp. If anybody needs a wrap as well, I know there's a lot of people that does wraps, but I do them as well to keep our cars on the team sharp as all get out.
Once again, Kevin Fry taking home the victory tonight in your Epsilon Sprint Wraps big block modifieds. Modifieds. Congratulations, Kevin, and good luck next week.
Thank you guys, and appreciate y'all putting on the broadcast and everything that y'all do. Thank y'all very much.
So there you heard from our winner here tonight, Kevin Fry. Polite man there in the Epsilon Sprint Wraps victory lane. Our pleasure to be here tonight when we've got great racing like we just witnessed tonight, Scotty.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like Kevin said, that car was a little tight at the beginning of the race and started to, like he said, get in the groove faster and faster as the race went on. So definitely earned it tonight for Kevin Fry taking home the victory.
Another good night of racing in the books for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds, and they'll be back for more Thursday Night Thunder coming up next week, and we'll head to the Lernerville Speedway for the event next week. Of course, Scotty will also have the A&J Custom Creations Renegades 360 sprint cars coming up on Monday night as well. Looking forward to some big events next week as we invade Lernerville.
Lernerville is going to be another fun track too, and it's also a little bit of a tricky track as we've seen there's no wall around the outside there, so definitely a track where you need to pay attention and make sure you hit your mark. So we're going to be in for quite a treat next week from Lernerville.
Your unofficial finish up there on the screen with Kevin Fry, Justin Sick, and Jason Randolph, your top 3 finishers here tonight from the Lanier Speedway for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds on GeForce Racing TV. Make sure to look up at GeForce Racing on Facebook. Look them up on www.geforcerl.com, and we'll see you down the road for some more big-time events with all of these teams. Scotty, final thoughts on another exciting night?
Definitely a fun track like we saw with the Renegades earlier this week. Another great race, and congratulations to the everyone here tonight. And these classic cars really coming alive and putting on some great racing, Sean.
They've been so popular since they were introduced here about a month ago, and to see these drivers have such good control of these cars after such a short amount of time to get all of these setups under control, to figure out how to handle these racetracks, and then you've got a setup like tonight. You watch a guy know his car is going to be tight through the middle portion of the race, and then absolute lights out money when it counts at the end. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal setup work and phenomenal driving, and I look forward to seeing more of it next week from Lernerville. Scotty, I'll send it over to you. I know you're on a backup shop at a family member's house. The internet went down at your house, so I'll send it over to you. Well done, my friend, to make sure everything got working here tonight, and I look forward to calling some more action with you again here real soon. I'll send it to you to close out this Thursday Night Thunder.
Just a big thank you to everyone involved here with the GeForce Racing League for putting on such great racing each and every week. Thank you to the race fans for tuning in tonight. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Tune in Monday for the Renegades 360 sprint cars from Lernerville Speedway. But until then, like our friends would say, please be smart, be safe, and we'll see you next week at the racetrack. Good night, everybody.